An apple is the most flexible fruit on the planet. You can do anything in a meal with an apple. You can put it in a soup, and an appetizer, and a dessert, main course, salad, anything. Just popped out of my head one day, like most things. So it's the little black dress of the culinary world. I have a partner who I've been together with for a very long time. And she said, we should buy a farm. It's like, that's a dumb idea. Our life is awesome. Let's throw it all away. Do something unfounded that we're unqualified for. Let's see if we can do something that's bigger than what we are.
Hello, so today I'm here with Bruce of Valley Cider, owner and proprietor and mastermind and craftsman behind ciders produced here. So I actually want to get started by talking about before the cider came into your life. So I wanted to ask you what your life looked like before Valley Cider was a thing.
Oh, problem-free with no responsibilities. We were in Vancouver, and I had an IT business, and my wife was working as a manager in healthcare, and you just get to a point where you start achieving the stuff that you've been working towards. Then all of a sudden, strangely and very sadly, our cat died, and I realized our last responsibility just left. We don't even have to take care of cats anymore. So life was good, and we enjoyed it. We traveled a lot, and we got to see a lot of things and do a lot of stuff that we wanted to do. And for a number of reasons, which will lead into why I started the cidery, you start exploring all those things that creep into your mind, the what ifs. Mm-hmm. And there were no barriers to me exploring those.
Yeah, so it sounds like everything was pretty stable when you made the decision to take the leap.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just found that there were many things that I was curious about, and it wasn't so much a question anymore of why I should do something, but why not? And obviously you could go endlessly into that, and I just found that some of the other cliches that started to guide that is I try not to do anything if someone else does it better. So I make really good beer too, but I can buy better beer. My friends make better beer than I do. So what's the point? Wine? I can buy better wine than I can make. I could not, nor can I find the cider that I like to drink. And I think what's available now misrepresents its potential.
So really the cider came from kind of a need that you saw was there that wasn't being filled yet.
Partially, yeah. That entered into this nefarious world of believing that I'm better than circumstance, which is the primary requirement for starting a business. You need to be that person who thinks you're better than everybody else.
Were you specifically looking at the island prior to this decision, or?
We looked at a lot of places, and again, she was set on the island. She wanted to live in Calgary.
So the island was a factor, it wasn't?
It was. It's a beautiful place. You know, it really is. And I grew up in Victoria, so I'm very familiar with it. My wife wanted to be here. And we found this place. It was just, you know, my jaw hit the floor. This place is as perfect as it gets.
Okay, so Roxy, how long have you and Bruce been together?
We've been together for 31 years, Amelia.
That is just crazy.
A long time.
But it makes sense that you would go into something like this together after that amount of time together. So what was it that made you encourage Bruce to follow his passions for cider?
Yeah, well, he I don't know if he told you, but he started making cider in our basement in our Vancouver home. Mm-hmm. And then he had an IT business, as you know, and he was kind of getting tired of that. He'd kind of run its course, and he loved it for a while, and then it was kind of like the same stuff day after day. And he really liked making cider. He's a very creative guy. And we wanted to leave Vancouver. That was a big thing, right? We were kind of tired of the city.
Mm-hmm.
The city didn't need us anymore, as Bruce likes to say. So
The cider needed you.
the cider needed us more. Yeah, so I knew he'd be a success. I had no doubt. He's very hardworking. He can focus like crazy. He's constantly creating, and he loves that part of it.
It sounds like he also has an amazing support system behind him.
Yeah, I like to support him. He's an easy person to believe in.
Well, that's really sweet. What would you say was the hardest thing about taking the lead?
I think it was difficult to leave our friends and our social connections. We'd been there for a long time, right? And so
Yeah,
we had a
of course.
really good group of friends. We had the sports that we did together, so we had that community, and your home, right? You build your home, and it's a place that you grow to love. So that was challenging to leave all of that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And what would you say after getting a little more settled, what started to become rewarding?
Well, I think it was probably a little bit of trying to tame this land a little bit, but not that that's actually ever possible. And because it did need some work, the property needs some work, and we both really like projects. So that was, yeah. And we always had one, Amelia. There was like a million of them. So that was rewarding for both of us. I think also just, looking at a new community and figuring out a way to fit into that community and contribute to that community. That was rewarding as well.
Would you say that switching from managing the life of IT to the life of cider really changed like your outlook on things, or like the way that you worked in life?
Yeah, it was transformative. I wasn't ready for it, to be honest with you. I mean, I was doing IT for almost as long as you guys have been alive. I mean, it was an enormous part of my identity. And when I came here and threw that part of me away, I wasn't the IT guy anymore. And it was hard. The first couple of years of coming to terms with that was really difficult, because it's difficult to understand, or at least express, how profound losing your identity is. When you lose your identity voluntarily, like I just threw away my life. I mean, it was much more tumultuous than I'd expected, and exhilarating. I'm a startup guy. I like the thrill, the chaos, the lack of surety of that part of life that you remember the most. The things that you remember aren't going to be the easy successes. They aren't going to be the worst of your failures. They're going to be the things that you really felt you earned. I was from the city. I'd never worked a chainsaw before, let alone figured out how to sharpen one. Now all of a sudden, I could take apart a small diesel engine. Where did that come from? That came from 2 or 3 years of abject suffering when we moved here. Nature doesn't give a crap about my background or my qualifications or my tenacity. Here's nature, deal with it. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm taking my cultivation of nature and then put it into a medium that contains billions upon trillions of yeast cells. It's just concentrating nature in a small container. And that I find fascinating, because it's the polar opposite of IT. IT is fully inanimate. IT is full of structures and mechanisms that we're now coming to grips with.
On that note, I wanted to ask you kind of a bigger question. So over these past 9 years, what role has community and kind of this local area played in the Valley Cider story?
Huge. I think community is something that you can't live without. Whether it's the people in your kitchen or the people in your neighborhood or the people in your region. And obviously if you're selling a product, that becomes important because you need people to come and buy it. I grow almost exclusively through word of mouth, so engaging with the community is huge. It also helps guide your your focus, because it's easy when you're running your own show and doing things yourself. There's no boss, there's no superintendent, there's no supervisor, there's no HR department. It's just you. If something doesn't get done, it's on you. So when you're talking to people, you get this natural filtering mechanism of what's working and what doesn't. But I think throwing yourself out there and almost at the mercy of other people saying, you know, do you think I'm doing the right thing? The local community was really supportive that way. Nonprofits were all in. It's like, we want to help you out. I had businesses wanting to buy my cider before they'd even packaged any of it. They just liked the story. And that really reinforced to me that the story is important. It was fun. It was engaging. It was a nonstop exploration of waking up every morning and wanting to do what I did for a living, which I think is unfortunately a precious and rare commodity.
Yeah, so over the past 9 years, what are some of your proudest moments?
It worked. I was right. One of the things that I thrive on is external validation. And that's something that, you know, it's easy to look at and say, oh, well, you know, you need to have an internal locus of control. The validation I get from doing a job well in cider, coupled with the fact that people are giving me their money for it, is very empowering. And it shows that I was right, because I don't market, I don't advertise, I don't even make it easy for people to come here. I'm open for 3 hours once a week for the tasting room, and that's it. Because I don't want to disturb my dogs. I don't want people drinking on my property. There's no taco trucks, there's no picnic tables. I don't even have seats in the tasting room. This is all entirely predicated on what I need. And having the privilege and insight to pursue this whole thing based on okay, what works for me? Because if it works for me, it'll work for other people, has succeeded. So I'm happy I nailed that one, because I think too many people come in here, for example, not understanding that they need that validation from other people, and they use it unwisely. So, oh, I need you to like this stuff and therefore I'll make what you want. It's like, no, I don't make any ciders for anyone else. Every single cider is made for me. And then as a craft producer, I hope people like it. And it's worked. Everything sells great and everything's gone wonderfully. So moving forward, what it means is that I sleep well. I don't have fear about what comes next.
I'm always up for an adventure. I love change. I'm not one of those people that's fearful of change. I'm looking forward to whatever is down the road.
Thank you so much for giving us your time in this conversation and allowing us to come and enjoy your beautiful farm and the Valley Cider property. We really, really, really appreciate the chance to talk to you.
Well, I thank you guys for coming up here. I'm glad you had an opportunity to, and this has just been, again, this is part of the validation too, is that I spend a lot of time with people asking questions in the tasting room. And it's nice. I mean, having someone show an interest in what you're doing is part of the reason you're here. So, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.